Welcome to Sir Win's Accounting Lectures. Today, magkakaroon tayo ng pen and paper video problem solving patungkol sa Lecture 04, Share Capital. Actually, ang link o ang mismong file ng problem na sasagutan natin today ay nasa description ng video lecture na ito. At ang advice namin ay sagutan mo muna ng solo ang nasabing problem at bumalik ka kapag tapos ka na to confirm kung tama ang pagkakaintindi mo sa lesson at kung tama rin nga ang naging sagot mo. Okay? Pero kung may sagot ka na nga, simulan na natin ang pagbibigay ng solution sa problem under discussion. So again, Lecture 04, Share Capital. So here is our problem. Amity Inc. was incorporated on January 2, 2021 and has been authorized to issue 500,000 shares of 10 peso per ordinary shares. The following 2021 transactions relate to the initial issuance of Amity shares. Okay? Actually, the requirement is prepare journal entries. Okay? At sa accounting po for share capital, merong dalawang method. The first one is the memorandum method and the second one is the journal entry method. Ang pag-uusapan lang natin today is the memorandum method kasi yun yung usual na ginagamit sa actual practice. Okay? So yung journal entry method, kung gusto ninyong matutunan, tumingin na lang po kayo sa libro. Okay? Ang ibig kong sabihin, under memorandum method, okay, kaya siya tinawag na memo method, pag nagkakaroon ng authorization, hindi po nagkakaroon ng journal entry, but rather memorandum entry lamang. Ang ibig sabihin ng memorandum entry, gumagawa ka ng statement, parang kwento, kung ano yung nangyari dun sa incorporation. So again, bago po magka-transaction ng February 1, nagkaroon muna ng incorporation ng January 2. Therefore, our first entry, okay, under memorandum approach, okay, will be January 2, 2021 for the authorization of the shares. So, paano po gawin yon? Simple lang, you have to make a paragraph. Okay? The corporation was authorized to issue 500,000 shares of 10 peso per ordinary shares. O, yan na yung entry under memorandum method para sa incorporation. Okay, para nagkwento ka na ito yung maximum number of shares, 500,000 at ang par value po ay 10 peso. So this is a stock corporation. Okay, let's move on. February 1, our first transaction. Okay, Amity sold subscriptions for 25,000 shares of stock. The shares have a subscription price of 15 peso per share. 1/3 of the subscription price was received as down payment. Okay? So actually on February 1, ayan, there is what we called subscription. Ano nga po ulit ang ibig sabihin ng subscription? Okay? Merong gustong bumili ng shares, gusto nating pasalihin, pero sa pagkakataong ito, hindi pa po siya fully paid. So, ang tawag sa kanya ay subscriber pa lamang at hindi pa siya shareholder. Okay? Magiging shareholder lang siya or ibibigay lang natin yung share the moment na yung kanyang subscription ay fully paid na. Which in this case, February 1, hindi pa fully paid kasi ang sabi dito, 1/3 pa lang ang binayaran. So what will be the entry on February 1? So first, we have to debit the receivable. So we debit subscription receivable. Okay? Dahil nga po yung shares ay ordinary shares, mas maganda i-identify natin na yan ay ordinary. Okay? Now, how much? 25,000 yung shares na gusto niyang isubscribe. 15 pesos ang isa, okay, nung binili niya o nung nag-subscribe nga siya. Therefore, 25,000 times 15 is equal to 375,000. Now, ano po ang credit natin? We credit this account, this subscribe ordinary share. Subscribe ordinary share is always measured at par. Kumbaga, ito po yung magiging ordinary share the moment na ma-issue mo na siya. The moment na hindi na siya subscribe. Pero ngayon, dahil nga subscribe pa lang siya, magkakaroon talaga dito ng description na subscribe yung ordinary share. Now again, this is always measured at par. Kasi nga, ang punta din naman niya ay dun sa ordinary share na mini-measure din at par. That's why the solution would be 25,000 multiply by, hindi po 15, but rather yun ngang par value na 10 pesos. So again, the answer would be 250,000. So credit, subscribe, ordinary share for 250,000. And the balance will go to what? To the share premium account. So we credit, share premium dash ordinary. Yung pong mga terminology na ordinary, pwede namang mawala, okay? Kung sakali naman na preference ang ginamit o kaya walang binanggit. Pero generally naman, ang isang corporation, ang kanyang share ay ordinary. So, pwede mo talaga siyang palaging gamitin. Okay, so how much now is the share premium ordinary? The answer would be 375,000 minus 250,000 and that will be 125,000. Okay, the balancing figure, lagi pong ganun yun kasi siya nga yung excess at par of, di ba? Yung sobra. Okay? Same date ng February 1, nagkaroon ng payment, 1/3. So therefore, kung merong payment, merong collection. So we debit cash. Okay? 1/3 of what? Malamang 375,000 kasi yung receivable naman talaga ang kinokolekta mo. So again, 375,000 times 1/3 would be 125,000. So debit cash for 125,000 and we credit what? Natural yung pong kinolekta mo, yung tinatawag na subscription receivable. Kasi yun nga yung kinolekta di ba? Okay? Also amounting to 125,000. So that will be our transaction for February 1. Now let's move on. Okay? March 9. Issue 1,000 shares as payment for incorporating the business. Actually, this March 9 transaction relates to organization costs. Kasi nga sabi, related to incorporating the business. So, di ba? So, ibig sabihin, inorganize mo siya. Ngayon, sa halip na bayaran mo siya ng cash for 15,000, hindi po. But rather, ang ibinigay mo na nga lang ay shares. Okay, so how do we do that? March 9. Okay, we prepare the entry. We debit organization expense. Kasi related nga yan sa organization. At ang sabi nga doon, ang value niya ay 15,000. So again, debit organization expense for 15,000. And we credit the share issued. The share issued is ordinary shares. So we credit ordinary shares. Okay, kung sakali nga walang klase ng share, pwedeng gamitin share capital. Pero ngayon, dinediretso po natin sa ordinary share. Now, how do we measure this account title? The answer would be always at par. So again, that is 1,000 multiplied by the par value of 10 pesos. So therefore, the answer would be credit ordinary share for 10,000. At dahil nga yan ay hindi balanse, we credit the account title share premium dash ordinary. Amounting to how much? 5,000 para siya maging balanse. Okay? Now, let's move on. April 13. Okay? An installment amounting to 1/3 of the subscription price was received. You remember, nung February 1 nga, nagkaroon po ng subscription. Ngayong April 30, nagbabayad na naman ng 1/3. So therefore, what will be our entry? April 13. So I have to remember po, ang kanyang sinubscribe, yung total, 375,000. Nagbayad siya ng 1/3. So 375,000 times 1/3 is equal to 125,000. So we debit cash for 125,000. And we credit the subscription receivable. By the way, kailangan po palaging may dash ordinary para consistent tayo. So we credit subscription receivable dash ordinary. Okay? 1/3 nga, so 125,000. Ang tanong, yun bang sinubscribe mo ay fully paid na? Hindi pa, kasi 1/3 nung February 1, 1/3 nung April 1. So therefore, 2/3 pa lang yung bayad, hindi pa siya fully paid. Now let's move on. May 19, okay? Amity exchanged 200 shares of stock for a furniture having a fair market value of 3,800 pesos. So, ibig sabihin, hindi sa lahat naman ng pagkakataon, yung share ay nabibenta ng cash. Pwede nga actually na property ang kapalit. At ang valuation kung sakaling property ay fair market value. So, again, noong May 19, okay, here is our answer. Okay, May 19, nakatanggap ng furniture. So, therefore, we debit furnitures. Okay? Amounting to 3,800. Hindi naman siya subscription, so therefore pwede mong i-issue agad yung shares. So we credit ordinary shares. Okay? Now, ordinary share again is always measured at par. So 2,000 yung share, 200 yung shares, 10 peso yung par. So therefore, 200 times times 10 is equal to 2,000. So we credit ordinary shares for 2,000. Now, hindi siya balance. Kaya nga, magkakaroon ulit ng account title na tinatawag na share premium. So, we credit share premium dash ordinary. Also, amounting to 1,800 kasi nga, siya nga ay palaging balancing figure. Okay? Now, let's move on with June 3. Sabi dito, the final 1/3 of the subscription price was received and the shares issued. Actually, kahit hindi banggitin itong part na to and the shares issued, automatically na-i-issue mo na ng June 3. Bakit po? Rulings na nga na pag yung subscribe ay fully paid na, it will become issued shares. Now, what will be our journal entry? Okay? So, syempre, magde-debit po tayo ng cash. Kasi nagkaroon nga ng collection. 1/3 ulit. So, kanina, 1/3 ng 1/3. So, 125,000 pa rin ang value niyan. So, again, we debit cash for 125,000 and we credit what? Subscription receivable dash ordinary. Also amounting to 125,000. After this entry, after the collection, there will be a shares issuance. Okay? The entry for June 3 would be debit subscribed ordinary shares. Okay? Amounting to how much? 125,000. Kasi yun yung nare-record natin ngayon. The answer is no. Hindi po 125,000, but rather kung magkano yung balance ng subscribe ordinary share nung moment na sinubscribe siya. Ang ibig kong sabihin, okay, pag binalikan natin tong problem na to, makikita nyo na nung February 1, ang balance ng subscribe ordinary shares ay 250,000. Ngayon, na June 3 na, okay, na fully paid na, dapat tanggalin mo na tong subscribe ordinary share na to. So kung siya nakaka-credit, ang gagawin natin, i-debit natin siya with the full amount. Kasi wala ngang partial issuance sa subscription. Kinakailangan ay full payment. So again, we debit subscribe ordinary shares for 250,000 and we credit this what we called, okay, ordinary shares. We credit ordinary shares amounting to 250,000. Ito na nga yung binabanggit natin kanina. That's why subscribe ordinary shares is always measured at par. Kasi ang punta din naman niya, the moment na fully paid na ay sa ordinary shares account. Okay? Wherein this ordinary share account is also always measured at par. Okay? So that will be the entry for the issuance. Okay? So again, kung wala pong ordinary binanggit, yan po ay pwedeng share capital when you try to relate in our discussion. Okay? Now, let's move on. June 11, reacquire 2,500 shares at 12 peso of Amity to be held in treasury. So actually, this June 11 is a treasury share transaction. Again, ang treasury share po, ito yung share na in-issue mo na pero binayback mo later on or nire-acquire mo kasi meron kang purpose. Okay? Magkakaroon naman nga po ng video discussion patungkol dito. Pero tandaan nyo na lang ngayon na ang treasury share, ang normal balance ay debit and it is always measured at cost. Debit kasi kabaliktaran. Kung nire-issue mo, credit, kung in-issue mo originally, okay, again, original issuance, credit. Pero ngayon kasi, reacquisition, that's why the normal balance is debit. So again, June 11, gawin na natin. Okay? July 11, I mean. Ayan, so we debit treasury shares. Okay, pero dahil ngayon ay ordinary, pwede kang maglagay dito ng dash, ordinary, 2,500, okay? Times 12 would be 30,000. And credit what? Credit cash kasi binili mo yan for 30,000. Okay, it is always measured at cost. Okay, now let's move on. August 8, Amity sold subscriptions for 25,000 shares of stocks. The shares have subscription price of 18 peso per share. No down payment was received. So katulad nung kanina, this August 8 is a subscription transaction. So that's why you are going to debit subscription receivable dash ordinary para ma-identify. Okay, now how much? 25,000 times the 18 pesos. So that is amounting to 450,000. Okay, so debit subscription receivable ordinary 450,000 and we credit what? Subscribed ordinary shares, which is always measured at par. Okay? That's why it would be 25,000 times 10. So that will be 250,000. And the balance, again and again, will go to what we call share premium account. Share premium dash ordinary, kasi nga may ordinary shares tayo, amounting to 200,000. Okay, point. Kailan lumalabas ang share premium account kapag ka merong subscription? Ang sagot, on the date of subscription, not on the date of issuance. Ang ibig kong sabihin, di ba dito ni-subscribe pa lang? Dito lumalabas yung account title na share premium. You remember yung naunang subscription ng June 3? Di ba nagkaroon ng issuance kasi fully paid na? Lumabas ba yung share premium account ng June 3? Di ba hindi? Okay? Lumalabas yung share premium account nga every time there is a subscription, on the date of subscription. Maraming estudyante ang nagkakamali doon kapag tinatanong ng theories. Tayo ngayon po ay pinapaliwanag na natin na doon talaga siya lumalabas. Yung share premium account, again and again, on the date of subscription, nagkakaroon ng entry. Now, let's move on with the next transaction. September 9, reissued 1,000 shares of treasury at cost. Di ba kanina nag-acquire ka ng treasury share? Pero hindi ibig sabihin na yun ay habang buhay ng sayo. Pwede mo ulit yung ibenta, ang tawag na nga doon ay reissued. Pwede mo ulit siyang i-issue. Okay? So in this particular problem, September 9, kung siya yung nare-reissue mo, ibig sabihin binebenta mo siya. Therefore, you are going to debit cash. Okay? Magkano mo siya in-issue? Ang sabi daw po ay at cost, di ba? So therefore, dapat alam mo kung magkano yung cost. So dito sa dating problem, dito sa naunang problem, okay? Ang cost niya ay 12 peso. So therefore, it would be 1,000 times 12. So again, we debit cash for 12,000. Okay? And we credit treasury shares ordinary. This is always measured at cost. Okay? Whether debit, whether credit. Ngayon, naka-credit na siya kasi nga, reacquisition, debit, pag ni-reissue mo na, palabas na, okay? Credit naman. Also, at 12,000. Huwag nga po kayong mag-alala, magkakaroon po ng separate video discussion patungkol sa treasury shares. Okay? Now, let's move on. October 5. Ayan, Amity sold 10,000 shares for 180,000. Actually, this transaction is issuance of shares, yung initial issuance. Ang ibig ko sabihin, hindi na siya dumaan bilang subscriber, but rather, pagpunta niya sa corporation, gusto siyang pasalihin, nagbayad na rin kaya siya kaagad, therefore, diretso na siyang shareholder. So, gawin na po natin yung entry. You debit cash, we debit cash, kasi nakatanggap ka ng 180,000. Okay? Dahil nag-i-issue na tayo dyan ng shares, so automatic, we credit what? We credit ordinary shares. Okay? It is always measured at par. That's why, 10,000 times 10 would be 100,000. So, credit ordinary shares for 100,000. And the balance will go to share premium. Okay? Lagyan natin ng dash, ordinary, para malaman. Balancing figure again, that would be 80,000. Okay, let's move on with November 15. November 15, okay, collected 20% of the total subscription price on August 8. Okay, ano nga nangyari ng August 8? Okay, nandito yun. So, nagkaroon ng subscription, walang down payment. Okay, pero ngayon po, ngayong date na to, nagkakaroon na ng collection which is 20%. Okay? So, August 8 yung transaction na yun. nagkaroon ng collection 20%. Ang tanong, saan mo imumultiply yung 20% dito sa tatlong to? Ang sagot, ano ba ang kinokolekta? Kasi yung iba nalilito rin po dito. Ang kanilang laging, minsan nagagamit nilang base yung subscribe ordinary, yung mong subscribe ordinary share. Hindi po, ang base ng collection, syempre ay receivable. Kasi natural yung receivable nga ang kinokolekta natin. So again, gawin na po natin. November 15, dahil nagkaroon ng collection, with debit cash. And that would be 450,000 times 20%, that will be 90,000. And we credit what? Dahil nangongolekta ka, you credit subscription receivable dash ordinary amounting to 90,000. And our last transaction would be income at year-end amounted to 250,000. Okay? So actually, this December 31 transaction relates to retained earnings. You remember retained earnings? Yun nga po yung kita ng business. At lumalabas yung account title na yun, okay? Every end of the year, whenever there is a closing entry. In a sense na yung nominal account, represented by income summary will be close to retained earnings. That's why may pro forma entry na nga po siya. Okay? With debit income summary kasi profit, kung sakali pong loss baliktad, Okay, with debit income summary for 250,000 and we credit the retained earnings account, okay, which is a representation ng mga kinita ng business. So again, we credit retained earnings amounted to 250,000. Okay? So that will be the entry for the profit during the year. So actually again, that will be the requirement. I believe natapos na po yung ating pen and paper video lecture patungkol sa share capital dun sa mga basic concept. Sa mga kasunod po na discussion, syempre, medyo mas magiging detailed, okay? Dun sa specific na na topic under consideration. Halimbawa nga treasury shares, halimbawa nga treasury retained earnings, okay? So maraming salamat po sa pakikinig.